Hey everyone, welcome to another session on our DevOps series. Today is part 8 of the series, and we are going to talk about our one of the small topics on Ansible, which I was not able to cover in the previous part, which is Ansible Playbook. Before I jump into that topic, I just wanted to let you know where you can find all the previous sessions which we have recorded on DevOps on the channel. So you can go under playlist, and here you'll find this playlist, right? So if you click here, you'll see all the recordings which we have done related to DevOps. Okay. Also, apart from DevOps, I do take sessions on various other topics. So if you go to my Git repo, so this is the name Jyoti MCA. If you look with this name, this is my account. Under that, I have this repository named as my work. Under that, you can see all the sessions which I have recorded so far. Okay, so this AWS series. Okay, you can find all the things which I had recorded on AWS in this particular folder. Talks on Scrum, DevOps. There are certain testing talks I had done, and you can also see some of the work I have done for a conference which I organize or volunteer. Okay, so let's get started with our today's session. So before I start, let me start these two machines. Okay, so the setup is same. Remember what I had done? I had taken two instances of Linux. On one, I had installed Ansible, which was my server, and then the other machine on which I had to make changes or do the updates, that we named it as Ansible host. Okay, and steps were very easy, like the machine whose name you have kept at server, you have to install the Ansible. Then on both the machine, we created a user having same permission as that of a super user, and then we did some configuration changes with SSD. Right, so that you can connect from one machine to another machine without password. So if you remember, how does Ansible connects with other machine, or Ansible server connects with other machine, it's all through SSH. So we had generated a key, and we had copied the public key onto the host machine, so that now when we are trying to make a connection, it's through those keys. Okay, so yep, let me share the PPT for you all first. Okay, so if you remember, I said there are three ways by which we can execute commands. So one was ad hoc, which was simple Linux command. Then we talked about modules. So what are our modules? Modules are like library. So you have a module for creating user, module for create installing stuff, module to copy file from one location to another, and many more. Okay, all those things you can find it on the official side of Ansible. Okay. Then third way is playbook. So in case of module, if you want to do three, four things, right? So you have to, what do you say? You run first module, then second, then third. So instead of doing that, what you can do, you can create a playbook. So playbook could be just like a booklet. Okay. Now that book has pages. So each page represents your one module. Okay. So when you run your playbook, all those modules would be run in sequence. Now there are a lot of things you can do with playbook. You can parameterize it. Okay. You can add loops to it, right? Certain tasks you want to run multiple times. For example, you want to create 10 users and add them to a specific group. So you can have something called as loops. Then you can add handlers. So which handlers and notifiers. So it's like, for example, I cannot log in until I have created user. So you first create the user. If user creation is successful, then only you will log in and perform the next action. Okay. And then finally, as always, we'll do a small demo. Okay. So brief about Ansible. So Ansible playbooks are list of tasks that automatically execute on the host machine, which I told you, right? And each module perform a specific task. Okay. Each module contains metadata that determines when and where a task is executed. So when we say when and where, I hope by now you would understand. When we say where, it's your inventory or your host. Okay, and where do we specify all those hosts? There's this file etc ansible host, if you remember, right? So we create those blocks wherein specify the servers. Yeah. Okay, so let's get started with our demo. Okay. So I'll run a simple playbook. So what this playbook would do is, let me share first, putty with you all. Okay. Okay, let me share everything. Yeah, so these instances started. Let me start these instances. Okay. Mhm. Okay, I'll reconnect again to these machines, but let's let them get started first. Okay, meanwhile, this is starting. You can always go to for example, let me just take some sample playbook for Ansible. Okay, let me just take any intro to playbook. Yeah, and again, so you write the syntax in YAML format. See, this is one sample playbook. So if you read, so what format it is? YAML. Remember, in session I was telling you why people prefer Ansible over other Chef, Puppet, because there you have to learn some programming language. But here it's simple key value pair. Okay. So if you see, this is the playbook. Okay. Now this playbook has the task. So how many tasks you are doing? You update web servers. Okay. Host, remember that block under etc ansible host, where we used to create that block and specify the private IP address of our host machine. Okay, so you're just telling where this playbook needs to be run. So these are your web servers. Okay, now task. So this is the name of the task, plain English. And after that, what you're doing, you're specifying, okay, yum is your module, and using that, what you're doing is you are installing httpd, not installing. Here state is latest. Remember, we have three state: present, absent, or latest. So present is to install, absent is to remove, and latest is to update. Okay, so using yum module, what is the package which we are trying to update? It's httpd. Okay, which is your web server. Now if you want to do some configuration, which is like, so you want to copy something which is present here under this folder, you want to copy it to this folder. So how do you do it? Using template. Okay, then database. Okay, if you want to update db server, so what do you see? First, what you did, you are installing a web server. Once that's done, you are going and updating the DB servers. Okay. Yeah. So let's see if these machines are up now. Status, let it, yeah, okay. So what I'll do, I'll connect to both the machines. And how do we connect? Using putty. Okay. So let me go to putty. I'll, to be on safer side, what I'll do is I'll reshare again once I've added everything, just to ensure we are on the right screen. Okay, so host name, then I want to log in through EC2 user, and then the key is already created a key with name as Ansible Edureka. Okay. How do we distinguish between server and your host? So let me just change the color. So I'll go ahead and pick the color red as my foreground. Okay. Yeah, red. Okay. Let me see if Ansible is installed. Um, so what is the command? Yeah, so we already have the Ansible and we know where is our inventory file. Let me just give you all the glimpse of those inventory file. Hmm. vi. Okay, remember? So what I have done, I've already created a blog. So there was this blog already DB servers, and I have added private IP address of my host machine. Okay, now let me go ahead and connect with to the host. Putty. Okay, EC2 user. Browse. Okay, yep, yeah. So let me first check, do we have HTTPD installed on it already or not? Okay, why I'm checking, because I was practicing something here, so I might have installed it already. So what is the command? Service HTTPD status. Okay, so it's not present, so we need to download it. Okay, so how do we download it? Now using playbook. So let me show you how does your playbook look. Okay, so I'm just sharing everything again to be double sure that yes, you can see everything. Okay, so this is my host machine and this is my, sorry, this is my server. The red one is my server where Ansible is installed and the black one is my host machine. Okay, so let me first switch to our user. Remember what was the user which we had created? CareersTalk. Okay, here also let me switch to CareersTalk. Okay, now let's service HTTP status. Okay, this is not present. Now what I did was I created a folder named as my playbook. Okay, and if I do ls, oh, okay, looks like I didn't create there practice.yaml. So now let me show you this playbook. Yeah, so what, this is again YAML format. What you have to remember with YAML is indentation is very important. If you so when we say indentation spacing, if you miss onto any of this, okay, space, you'll have issue. Yeah, your file won't run. And this is the simple one. Let me add some more thing to it. So first let me do, yeah, present, and then name. What I'll do is install and then start HTTP server. Okay, so how do you start the server? For that, the command, the package should be service, but again let me check. Okay, so why I'm doing the research during the demo, so that you understand that you don't have to mug up anything, you don't have to run anything. You can simply search for, say, how do I start the service in Ansible? Okay, so go here or pick any. Should I go to the official doc? See, what is the module? You will say service name and state would be, see, state could be stopped, could be restarted, or it could be started. So what I'm going to do, started. Okay, and become true is you are starting this service as a sudo user. Okay, so let me go back to my playbook and say service name would be, what would be the name of my service? It is httpd. Okay, httpd, and then state would be started. Okay, yeah, so let's run this. Yeah, so let's go ahead and Ansible playbook practice.yum. Okay, yeah. Do you remember gather facts part? So there was this, if you remember the component of which I had told you the while discussing about architecture, there's this db cmdb. Okay, that contains the current configuration. So when you run any Ansible command, first configuration is checked. Okay, and once configuration is checked, then only what do you say, uh, the changes are done if there is delta. So it says failed. Okay, why says fail? You need to be root to perform this command, remember? So what I have to do, practice, see, changed is 0. Why 0? Because of the above error. Okay, so what I'll say, become root. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think need to be changed false. Okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's good to get errors. Okay, okay, I should have previous command. Okay, so it says insert. Okay, and let me do this as well. Become root. Now what does it says? Okay, includes allow. Okay, this is not required. This is not required. Now installing. Okay. See, I think I'm facing some issue with the permission. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Probably we can come back to it later. But let me just simply tell you, run the only the that part wherein we are installing the HTTPD server. Okay. Hmm. What's wrong is it because of this? What's wrong? Okay. Never mind. Let me just need to be root to perform this command. You need to be root to perform this command. Am I not root? CareersTalk is root. Those by it's gathering fact. Okay, cool. Did I start my SHT? Okay, just hold on, guys. Sudo exit. Okay, I just want to check one thing, which is my SSD server configuration. SSD configuration. Okay. Okay. So guys, what was I missing? Let me show you what I was missing is this parameter, which is become yes. So we are saying that when you are running this command, do it with a root user. Okay. So now let me come out of this. Okay, so see, last time this command ran successfully. Okay, and what I was doing through that command is I was installing something. Okay, now if I run same thing, see, just see this. Okay, two, so there were two changes done, and the change is one. Okay, so let me, no, sorry, change is done, which is we installed HTTP server. Now if somebody runs this again, what would happen? See, there would be no change. Why? Because we had already installed the HTTPD server. Okay. So let me show you. If you do, yeah, you see it is inactive. Now what I can do is let me make it active. So I have installed. Okay. Now I'll start the service. Okay. So let's try. Or let me remove this service. Okay, let me remove the service. So remove the, here what would be the state? Absent. Okay, so let me see what happens when we mark it as absent. Okay, change one. Let me go here and see service HTTPD. Okay, so see, this got removed. Let's run two commands together. First, we'll install the HTTPD server and then we'll start the HTTPD server. Okay, so present. Okay, now the next task I want to do is to start the service. Let's see. I hope this time it works. HTTP server. Um, Service is my module. Name would be HTTPD and state would be started. Okay, let's see if this works. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. So guys, did you see? We installed and we have started the service as well. Let's see. Status. What do you say? Your HTTPD server is running fine. Okay. Now I hope you got the gist of playbook. So what you're doing is you're running multiple modules, okay, in a sequence, and under that also you can have a lot of things like this was a simple playbook, but you can say, for example, you want to, as I was telling, you can create 10 users, you can create database. So first you'll create the database. Once you have created the database, you can create a user, you can create a table. Yeah, so with module you had to run one by one, but now with playbook you create one playbook and that's it, done. Yeah, so that's it for today's session. Since we did Ansible in two parts, let me quickly revise part 7 for you all and then this part 8 as well. Okay, so let me just open up my presentation which I had created for part 7. I'll quickly go through it. Okay. Let me quickly go through what we had studied in part 7. Okay. So part 7 was all about understanding configuration management tool, and in that why we picked Ansible. We studied about various components of Ansible. We did the installation, and we ran ad hoc commands and module. So using these two, we were able to make some changes onto the host machine. Okay, and today in this session we learned about playbook. Okay, so yeah, it helps you to automate your IT tasks, manage large number of remote servers, etc. Okay, and what is the major advantage of using Ansible over any other tool, or why it's getting more popularity? Because it's agentless. The script which you write now, you've seen the playbook was written in YAML format. If you see any existing YAML file which has been written for Ansible, you can quickly make out what's happening there. And it follows the push approach. So the moment the script was run, okay, or the moment there is any change in the script, what do you see? The hosts are notified. Okay, I mean, um, sorry, the host, they don't have to pull in the server again and again. Okay, so it's like the server pushes the changes onto your host machine. Yeah, so in architecture, the components module, something which is a library which is run onto your host or node machines. Plugin, these are the options or extension which are run on your servers. Like, remember when I ran that playbook, you were seeing some messages, gathering fact, etc. So all those are done with the help of plugin. Inventory is the machine which we want to manage, and playbook, the one which we saw, it's list of tasks that are executed automatically. Yeah, so these were the steps. So we have your master machine and your client machine. On master, you install the Ansible. On the client machine and master machine both, you have to create a user having a sudo privileges, and then generate a key onto your master and copy the public key onto your client, so that now when you run any Ansible command which uses SSH, okay, so password etc is not asked to for authentication. Yeah, so these are the ways to automate. Okay, uh, what next? Jenkins, that I'll cover in part 9. Okay, so and in today's session it was all about your playbook. Okay, so what does playbook consist of? The metadata. Remember that one key we missed, become, yes. So we were not able to run, and the error messages which were we saw, they were so self-explanatory. Okay, you can just copy that error in Google and you find out, okay, what is it that is missing. Yeah. Now, what next? In part 9, I'll come up with Jenkins, which is your continuous integration tool. Okay. So after Jenkins, we'll have some session on Docker that would end our series with respect to tooling. Then we'll be left with just two topics, which would be some sample projects, which we'll create using all the tools which we have studied, like your Git, your Ansible, your Jenkins, your Maven, etc. So we'll create one or two projects, and then we'll go for how do you transition from any role into DevOps. Okay, so this would end our beginner series, and based on the feedback and responses we'll get, if we'll get a good response from the series, we might go ahead and cover a detailed session on these topics. So whatever I'm covering as part of this series, which is going to be of 10 hours, that covers things which would help you get started. So if you see, I have structured this session. So first I talk about theory, then we do a little demo, and then kind of a recap. So okay guys, see you in the next session. Thank you.